Today I'm doing a video that I've gone back and forth with myself for months trying to decide if I should do it, and I'd be lying if I said that I didn't battle myself a billion times before finally sitting here and actually doing it today. I recognize that talking about it at all, that I am opening myself up to responses, and I do anticipate backlash. I just ask that you please watch the video in its entirety before forming an opinion or commenting, because there's a lot that I need to talk about. When weighing in whether or not I should respond to this, there were a million reasons why I felt like I should and a million reasons why I felt like I shouldn't. So what I did a few months ago when I started really going through everything was literally make a list of the reasons why I should and why I shouldn't, and what it came down to is the reasons I should respond were all really selfish reasons. It would be to try to clear my name or defend myself, get something off my chest, make me feel better, make myself look better. But on the other hand, I would be contributing to a culture that I don't believe in and feeding into a drama narrative. And even worse, I would be potentially hurting other people, because when you respond to something, you do shine a light on other people in a way that might send negativity their way. And at the risk of sounding like I'm playing the victim, the last few months have been really challenging and really difficult dealing with my mental health. And I know what I went through mentally, emotionally, and what my loved ones had to go through mentally and emotionally, and I just wouldn't wish this on my very worst enemy. That being said, it's been brought to my attention that my name's been brought up again, and I think that that opens up an opportunity for us to have a really important conversation that I think a lot of us need to have, myself included. So a couple days ago, Jessi Smiles posted a video. It was a Q&A, and in the thumbnail she put the question, did Gabby ever apologize after the video? In that video, she says that she called me out publicly so she wouldn't expect a conversation privately. And this is me paraphrasing, so feel free to please go check out the video yourself. But basically she says that she put out the video because she wanted to set the example of how she should be treated and to defend herself. And while I do believe that it's important to stand up for yourself and defend yourself, I don't agree that personal matters and interpersonal conflicts should be made public or dealt with publicly. We're reaching a point in our world that frankly scares me. It feels like every day somebody new is canceled, and it's becoming the norm to expose each other instead of to try to communicate or understand one another. I personally don't feel that making videos about people that you have a problem with is the example that we should be setting as the norm. If you get in a fight with somebody at school, the solution isn't to go around school and tell everybody why you have a problem with this person or why you don't like them. You should talk to them directly. You can get a mediator or a counselor involved, or you can just move on and not have that person be a part of your life anymore. The same goes for work, friends, family, anybody that you have a problem with. You should be speaking to them. I'm guilty of this too, of course, we know. When you're mad at somebody, it's natural to want to vent it out, but we're in a place now where everybody has a platform. Everybody has the opportunity to make their interpersonal drama viral. And I'm afraid that we're reaching a point where if you say something hurtful to a sibling or a friend or your parent, held against you by pretty much anybody you ever meet. And we're seeing this more and more, not just with celebrities and YouTubers, but with people in their everyday lives exposing their friends and making Twitter threads or Twitter videos or TikToks about them. Because right now, the first reaction seems to be to turn to the internet. So I want to start this by answering the question that was asked, which was, did Gabby apologize after the video? And the answer is, outside of the public apology and statement that I put out, no, I did not reach out to Jessi. I didn't feel like I was meant to apologize to Jessi or that she was looking for an apology, because I had already apologized to Jessi many times in many different conversations over the years. I will never publicly bash Jessi, and I will never publicly air out our dirty laundry, because God knows we haven't. But as far as I knew and what I've known is Jessi and I have been in a really good place for years. I congratulated her publicly on her wedding. She responded publicly, and we've had a lot of conversations over the years with no problems. And while I'll never expose conversations of fights that we've had between us, I do want to show, because I think it's important, what our relationship has been for the last 3 years. So obviously I'm not gonna read all of our text word for word, so I'm gonna go through these. They're gonna be on screen if you want to pause or read them. On December 14th, 2017, I told her I had an idea. What if we just do a video together telling both our sides? Even though I think we're both happy in life and doing well, we have no bad blood anymore, it's always something floating around in my mind as sort of an unsettled score. Maybe that's just me. And then she responded saying that she hates the tension between us, it gives her anxiety. It'd be nice to try and see where the other person was coming from, because we both hurt each other a lot, and that she's willing to do that. I said I'd like to come to a mutual understanding. She said have a good holiday, offered for me to stay at her place. And then a few days later, she texted me saying that she wanted to get away from making videos. She wanted to start editing and asked me if she could edit for me, talking about anxiety blankets, talking about this horrible guy I met on Tinder, and now he asked me out again. Then I saw that she was moving to LA. We talk about her family, we talk about moving, and I asked her where her song is about Nassim, because she said that she wrote a song about her husband that she never put out. She said she hadn't recorded it. I said, I feel like you'd enjoy it so much and would feel super fulfilled. Don't ignore the artist in you. I can't imagine how hard it is, blah, blah, blah. And she said, thanks a lot for saying that. Sometimes I forget you are my #1 fan, always at the front of the stage. She's moving to LA. I'm giving her advice, telling her different areas and tips on living in California. At this point, I asked her if she wanted to do a vegan video because she was moving to LA. I was planning on doing a vegan video that I obviously never did, and she was down to film it. Asked me again about apartments in California. And at this point, it was December of 2018. So this was a full year of us being super chill and everything was fine. And then I get a screenshot in February of 2019. And this is when I was going through a lot of drama. Every day was a new video. People were speculating on my friendships. And I get a tweet saying, what did you do to Jessi Smiles? She just made a video and said how you hurt her in unimaginable ways, and people in the comments are saying how toxic you are. So I screenshotted that, I sent it to her, and I said, what's this about? Because this was something that was a common thread in our relationship where I felt like we were fine and on good terms, and then there would be a comment in a video that would spark tweets, or there would be a subtweet that would spark some type of conversation about what happened between our friendships. I asked her, what is this about? And she said, LOL, oh God, I knew this would happen. I literally addressed all the people asking if we were gonna film together and said I don't know, but that it might not be a good idea because we both hurt each other. I didn't say you just hurt me. I just want everyone to literally shut up about our shit forever. So I said, oh, I mean, the best way to do that is definitely not to say we hurt each other, LOL. It's just to stop talking about it. So again, this is when I was going through a bunch of drama. This is after the monster meme. So I said, fuck, this is so stressful. There's such a hate train on me right now. This will most likely turn into a big drama channel story. And I know that this sounds really dramatic, but honestly, it's just how I felt. Like I was waking up every day anxious of my next scandal and the next story. So she said, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I didn't want to cause drama, not even a little bit. I said, it's all right, I'm just stressed. She responds, yeah, I get it. The last thing I want is stress or to cause stress. So for real, I'm sorry. I don't talk about it, but people literally don't leave me alone. In every Q&A, every video, people comment about you, and sometimes I get like actually mad and want to tell them to shut up. LOL, so this was kind of my way of doing that, but I'm not gonna mention it from this point forward. I said what I had to, and I don't need to explain shit to people when it was between us and so fucking long ago. So I said, I think that's why you get so many comments and I don't, because you bring me up every few videos, so people want the tea. And just to explain this in sort of a quick way, it's just like I said, I felt we were cool, and every few videos or every few months there would be like a tweet or comment in a video that would cause me to get a bunch of these tweets. So she said, I truly hear what you're saying, but I'm coming from a place of just speaking my mind when I feel I need to. Of course I'm not neutral because it's impossible to be. I have my own perspective and I share it on every subject of my life. It truly wasn't meant to hurt you. I didn't even think you'd see it, to be honest, and I do want to say sorry if it causes you added stress because I never want that for anyone. I didn't know there was a hate train against you, or honestly I would have just left out the question entirely, but look, I hear you. Either way, I won't be bringing it up again, especially not if you feel like I'm using it for views, because that is literally not how I'm wired, which I didn't say that she was using it for views. Regardless, I'm glad we're in a place where we can speak civilly about this and not freak out on each other. We've come a long way. And I said, I don't think you did it for views, haha, or else you would have just titled it that way or something. I just think if you truly want it to be over, saying things like that fuel the curiosity, definitely feeds into the narrative, whereas saying the more positive truth of we were kids, we both grew up and moved on, people changed, would more likely shut people up. But you're free to speak your mind, obviously. Just if you want it to be over, I think there's other ways to do it. I also thought we were gonna do a vegan dish video together, so I didn't know you felt that way. I'm guessing there's no chance you'd want to edit that part out. You're able to do it if it's under 100K views. She said, I understand that for sure. The opposite of what I wanted was to spark curiosity on the subject. And you mean the email part? Yeah, I can edit that out. And I said, honestly, just the whole question. We don't owe people explanations and it just makes people talk about it more. And then she didn't answer. And then the next time I tried to text her a few months later, my phone number was blocked. So from my perspective, we had a conversation. I was asking her to please stop bringing me up because it's something that had been happening for years. She said she didn't want to cause stress. She says that we both hurt each other and that she wanted to move on and leave it in the past. And that's where we come to present day, or rather November. Over the years, like she says, we've hurt each other a lot. We had a really toxic friendship, and frankly, that's why we're not friends anymore. Apologies have been given on both ends, and I truly thought that we were in a good place. So if she did have a problem, I didn't know about it, and as she says in her text, we were in a place where we could speak civilly about it, and we did both move on, and we have both just come such a long way. And then the next time I texted her, I was blocked. And to be 100% honest, this is really indicative of what our friendship was for years. We would be in this really good place and we'd be really supportive and excited for each other, and then I would try to hit her up and I was blocked and I didn't know why. And then one day we would be cool again and we would have a cool conversation, and then I would be blocked, and then we'd be cool and then we'd be blocked. And then I thought we were cool, and then there'd be a subtweet or a comment in a video, and that would get people talking again. And that is why, since I'm being completely honest right now, when I reached out about that initial collab back in 2017, I just decided that it wasn't a good idea because of how hot and cold our relationship was. It just didn't make me comfortable doing something publicly together. So now that we have some context on where I thought that we were and where our relationship left off, I need to obviously address everything that went down in November with the video that she put out. That video was about a conversation that I had with a fan. And while I obviously recognize that that conversation shouldn't have happened, it was incredibly inappropriate and obviously is very embarrassing, I do feel like at this point I need to at least share my side of this whole situation. So back in November, I was in some drama with Trisha Paytas, which I will talk about later in this video. And the night I put out the video, I got a tweet from one of my longtime fans that said, "I feel like anytime Gabby is talked badly upon, a certain person always has to say something negative about her. Like, we get it, you don't like her, move on and grow up." And this is something that obviously other people have noticed outside of myself. So as soon as I saw that tweet, I went to go check Jessi's page to see if that's what she was referring to, and there was a tweet up on her page, and a now deleted tweet. She deleted it before her video went up, so you can't go find it on her page right now. "If you're a shitty person, the world will find out. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, but it's only a matter of time." So obviously my name's not in the tweet, but with everything that was going on with Trisha Paytas that night, and in conjunction with her liking tweets about me, and I wasn't going to respond to it publicly, but when I saw the tweet, I went to text Jessi, and that's actually the first time I saw that my last text message never sent to her, and that was when I realized that she had blocked me. And I don't know when she blocked me because we hadn't gotten into any type of argument in between our last conversation and this one. So obviously my phone number is blocked. I don't feel like I'm in a situation where I can hit Jessi up and talk to her personally about it. So not that much later that night is when I started getting a bunch of tweets about how I ditched my best friend to collab with her rapist, how I'm a social climber, and basically that I chose my best friend's rapist over her. This is a rumor that started 5 years ago that obviously Jessi and I had had plenty of conversations since. We had squashed a lot of our beef. We've discussed it at length, and I thought that we were moving on as friends, or at least friendly. And I need to take a break right here to just say I have never collabed with Jessi's rapist. I did not stop being friends with Jessi so that I could be friends with her rapist. Jessi ended our friendship. I've never, ever publicly defended Jessi's rapist. I have one tweet to him before the TMZ story ever broke. That was 4 months, I believe, before the TMZ story broke. Nobody outside of their circle knew what was going on, especially not me in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, completely detached from the Vine world. I would never in a million years choose him over her, and I would never and have never defended him. In fact, one time I was at an event, an influencer event, and he happened to be there, and he tried to take a Snapchat selfie with me, and I told him to delete it right now because I did not want to be associated with him. I have zero association with Curtis Lepore. Really quick, last night I got in bed and I really just scoured trying to find any stone that I left unturned that might show something that I would have to further explain. I just want to get everything in here, and I found a couple tweets that I do want to address. So these are the tweets that I've already posted, and it says he was arrested in October of 2013. I tweeted this in September of 2013 and December of 2013, but the TMZ article was not published until January 16th, 2014. And nobody in the Vine community, as Alex James actually confirms in his video, knew about this. It wasn't public knowledge. We all found out about it when this article came out. This one as well is from December 10th, 2013. Again, this is before the story ever broke, so I had no idea at this point. This one is saying that I revined a Revine with Curtis in it. For those of you who remember Vine, you might remember when people would revine for Revine. It used to piss everybody off, but basically we would just text a group of friends and be like, hey, let's trade. I'll revine yours, you revine mine. And a lot of times we would just send each other links and just revine it. You were supposed to revine it as soon as it went up. So if you're doing something, if you're at work, if you're on the phone, if something's going on, you literally just click revine. So in that situation, somebody asked me to revine something. I revined it. It had Curtis Lepore in it. I unrevined it immediately and I flipped out at that person. So that's why I revined a Vine with Curtis in it. It wasn't Curtis's Vine. He was in somebody else's who I did revine for Revine with. This one says, so she's just brokenhearted, not raped. Moronic with comments like that. This one I actually do remember. This was the day the story broke and I hadn't seen the article yet. Whatever he tweeted, I genuinely have no idea what his tweet was, but I remember I responded with a current Vine meme, which was a Big Sean Lil Wayne song, beware, beware, beware of a woman with a broken heart. So that was a Vine meme. For those of you who are on Vine at the time, you remember it. I don't remember what he said. Obviously it had nothing to do with the rape case. So that was that day before I ever saw it. The tweet is deleted because I was like, oh shit, I didn't understand the context of anything about this and that's why it's gone. Because I didn't stand by what it said once I understood the context of everything that was happening. This wasn't my tweet. This actually goes hand in hand with this, which I actually addressed in this video. I was at an event with another Viner at the time. There were a lot of other Viners there. There were also fans there. And somebody said, hey, Gabby show, let me get a selfie. Out of habit, I'm sure any Viner, YouTuber, TikToker can relate to this. If you're in a crowd like that and somebody says, can I get a selfie? You just kind of quickly turn out of habit, smile for the picture, and then turn. I noticed that it was him. He had already tweeted it and posted it on Snapchat and I told him to delete it right away and he did. And that's why there's so few screenshots or tweets about it, because it was up for such a short period of time. Because to me, it was transparent from the beginning that he was trying to make it look like we were friends because that makes him look good if he's friends with me and I wasn't here for it. So those are all of the ones that I found. Regardless, there are no tweets out there of me publicly defending him, being his friend, and I just wanted to clear those ones up too. And this is another pattern that has come up over the last 5 years, where every time I'm in some type of drama or scandal, Jessi and her best friend start up this rumor again, and on top of everything else is when I start getting tweets about how I collabed with my best friend's rapist. And I remember the exact day that that started. In February, March-ish 2015, it was when I was still working at BuzzFeed, Jessi and I had a falling out over something that's completely unrelated and private between the two of us. In that time, I guess word travels fast, I got a FaceTime from an unknown number and I answered it and it was Curtis. He told me that he got my number from a friend and he wanted to apologize to me if he ever made me uncomfortable in public, for giving me dirty looks for public. And he said, you know, it's just that you were friends with her. And what I said to him was, there's no apology needed. I wouldn't expect you to be nice to me in public. I don't care. So we ended the call by me saying that his apology wasn't necessary. And I made it very clear to him. I said to him verbatim, I just want you to know that even though you've apologized to me, I'm never going to publicly defend you. I will never publicly bash Jessi regardless of what happened between her and I. This will never be a thing. I will never defend you. I will never hurt her, period. And he said he wouldn't expect that, and that was it. So I'm pretty sure it was the very next day, Jessi reached out to me and she said that she was sorry and that she wanted to work on our friendship. And I said, yeah, fuck yeah, me too. And I told her, going into this, as we work on our friendship, I want to be completely honest with you. I don't want to hide anything from you. Curtis got my phone number from somebody. He called me. This is exactly what the conversation was. I told her everything that he said, everything I said, and I made sure to tell her, I let him know that I would never publicly defend him and that I would never publicly bash you. She thanked me for my honesty and she said that she just needed some time to process and that she would hit me up when she was ready. And I said, cool, take your time. Less than 20 minutes later, I started getting tweets saying that I wasn't friends with Jessi anymore because I wanted to collab with her rapist, how I ditched my best friend for her rapist. I tried to text Jessi about it and I was blocked. Since then, on many occasions, I've scoured the internet trying to find the reason that people believe that that happened. There's no videos, there's no pictures, there's no tweets, there's no proof of any kind to indicate that I would hang out with or collab with this person. So as I'm getting these tweets again after 5 years of staying silent on it, I just wanted an answer. Because honestly, it started to get to a point where I started to believe it. Like, I've been told this story so many times that I legitimately thought I was going insane, and I was questioning myself, like, did I collab with this person? And I completely blocked it from my memory. That's how much it was affecting me at this point, that I started to second guess myself. So out of the handful of tweets that I was getting that night, I chose somebody who I thought was older. Obviously I was wrong. She had tweeted at me something along the lines of, "I'm really hurt. I used to love you and support you. And then I found out that you ditched your best friend for her rapist to collab with him. Basically, you're a disgusting human being. I don't feel comfortable showing the majority of our DMs on screen because I know now that she is a minor and it doesn't feel appropriate, but all of the DMs are available online if you want to go find them." So the conversation started by me asking her, "I'm genuinely trying not to engage with this stuff because it's gossip, but this is one that really confuses me because I don't understand why anyone believes it. If I collabed with my friend's ex, especially publicly, where is it? Where is any photo, any video? It doesn't exist because it didn't happen. That man is not my friend, has never been my friend. So how this story is a thing, I'll never understand, but I want to." So this is me paraphrasing the conversation as to not involve her any more than she already is. But basically she said that there were tweets that I defended him when the allegations dropped. I said, "Can you please send me the tweets?" And she said, "I can't find them." She sent me a video of a girl twerking next to him with long brown hair, and she said, "This is why people believe it, because you did this video. Do you care to explain this?" And I said, "That's not me." I sent her the link to the actual video where it's clearly not me, and she says, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And at this point she's saying, "You need to get your story out there. Like, this is crazy because I'm Googling it. You're right. There's no tweets, there's no videos, there's no pictures." And I basically said, I can't fight every lie that comes my way, and I also don't want to feed it or give it attention because it's just not true. And I basically just said, I was publicly best friends with her. She was in a public lawsuit with him. If I publicly defended him, don't you think it'd be somewhere? A story would have covered it back then. There'd be a screenshot, there'd be something. And she basically said to me, I can't believe that I believe this. And I have to be honest, it just felt good for somebody to believe me. Like, this is something that I've literally never responded to for 5 years. You can find these tweets for 5 years. I have no excuse for having a conversation with this fan other than I was hurt, I was angry, I was stressed about everything else going on, and I just wanted to let off steam. And obviously now I wish I could take it back. I've apologized to publicly, I've apologized to Jessi publicly for these DMs, and it's humiliating. It's so embarrassing, and it's something that I have to live with forever. I was never DMing her with the intention of talking shit about Jessi. I was DMing her because she tweeted me asking me why I would do this, and I wanted to understand why she felt that way. It's something I wish I could take back. It's something I wish that was never public and was never meant to be public. It was a one-on-one conversation I had with somebody in a moment of stupidity and weakness and anger and sadness. And I know this might be hard to believe, but sometimes as a creator, you forget that I just feel like a person. I've always made my friends online, even as a kid. So sometimes it's hard to remember that when you're DMing somebody online or responding to a tweet, that because of who I am, it's a different relationship. But I am a public figure. I'm not just some stranger ranting about things that are bothering me on the internet. That's not an appropriate relationship. I learned that lesson too late. It's embarrassing that I didn't know that lesson. In my mind, I was just responding privately to somebody who tweeted me a concern publicly, asking me why I would collab with him, and I just took it way too far. And for that, I'm really sorry and really embarrassed. So that's the history of the last 5 years in a nutshell, and kind of my side of where those DMs came from and why it happened in the first place. It's been really confusing and painful for both of us, but it does hurt because it just feels like over the last few years I have done my best to be friendly and to be kind and put the past behind us. It's like every few months there's just always some dig, and I don't know why this particular one got to me and why I didn't choose to ignore it this time, but I think I was just kind of at my boiling point where I wanted some type of understanding. So I'd like to take a moment to speak to Jessi directly. I'm doing this publicly because you have me blocked, and I don't think that it's appropriate for me to reach out to you privately given that circumstance. Jessi, your number has never been blocked on my phone. I feel that through the years, and especially recently, that you and I have had some really positive discourse, and we have proved that we're capable of civil conversation. I truly thought that we've put all this behind us, but if there's something that you are hurt by that you want to talk about, or something we've talked about that you'd like to talk about again, I'm all ears. I'm happy to listen to you. We can talk privately if you'd like. We can do it publicly in the form of a video or podcast. We can have a private conversation where we record it just so that we have it for ourselves, or you can ignore it. But I've never wanted any of our drama to be public, and that's why I haven't responded to it over the years. I truly thought that we had talked about everything that we needed to, and I feel like we can end this here. This isn't who I am, who I want to be, or the example that I want to set for the generation coming up after us. And I truly hope that we can lead together by example on this journey. No matter what happens, I will always wish you nothing but happiness and love, as always, and I will always be here to offer an ear or friendship if you need it. So, to jump back to where all of this started, I just need to quickly address the Trisha Paytas situation. There was a lot of speculation that the reason I wasn't addressing this was because there was a restraining order or a gag order, and that wasn't the case. There was never any type of legal action taken against me. I chose to stop responding for the reason that I posted on Twitter, which is this just isn't what I like to do. I got carried away. I got lost in the heat of the moment. I lost my cool, and I really lost my cool when my friend Gabby called me crying and I snapped. And then I reeled it back in and I chose to stop responding. I'm only going to address what I feel really matters because there was a lot said in her video. Trisha says that I've harassed her for years and basically that I was obsessed with her, and we've only met once when I begged her to come to her party. I did not beg her. I was invited by her because at that point her and I had a pretty solid friendship. I really cared about and still do care about Trisha Paytas. She says that I've harassed her over the years, and while I will admit that she stopped responding to my texts, these were the type of texts that I was sending her. It was me offering an ear, a place to stay, someone to talk to, some advice, and some love. It wasn't reciprocated and a lot of times not even acknowledged, but I don't care about that. I don't care if I look pathetic. I don't care if I look like a loser. If I see somebody in pain and saying that they're alone and hurting and need a friend, I'm going to reach out and offer that to them. And regardless of whether or not you're going to answer me, I'm going to remind you over and over and over again that you're not alone. The last conversation I had with Trisha was actually a really beautiful one. She was singing my song Butterflies on her story, and I responded with laughing emojis and I said, let me write a song for you. And she said, girl, not gonna lie, I thought I wrote Butterflies for a second. It's amazing, I'm down. And I responded to her saying that I feel her and reminded her that she's an artist and whatever pain that she's going through is temporary, but basically she gets to create art out of it, and that's why it's so amazing. Not that long after that conversation and what I felt was a friendly relationship, I heard from a friend that she was telling people that I begged her to come to her house and write for her, and that she said, bitch, I don't know you, you're a psycho, like I'm not giving you my address. And this isn't a first time occurrence, and again, this is just embarrassing and petty, and this video came down to just me being angry and hurt and upset because from where I was sitting, I've offered her nothing but love and kindness, and for years have just heard these things that she's said about me behind my back, and just frankly, it hurt. So again, if I'm being completely 100% honest here, I was looking for a reason to confront Trisha. Usually when somebody comes to me and says, hey, I just think you should know Trisha said this about you, I say, I mean, can I ask her about it? And they say, no, please don't tell her, I don't want to be involved. So when somebody finally said, yeah, just don't get me in trouble, I was like, okay, I can finally confront her about this. And then that led to her making a video saying that I told everybody that she has herpes and have been telling everybody that she has herpes for years, that I'm a mean girl, that I spread rumors about her, I tried to ruin her relationship, whatever else has been said. So this is the situation. I was with David Dobrik and Jason Nash. They were in my apartment, and Jason told me that he had slept with Trisha. At this point, Trisha had long since stopped answering my texts for a reason that I didn't know because we didn't talk about it. And I didn't feel like we had a relationship where I should or could text her about this situation and ask her about it. It didn't seem any type of appropriate to text a girl who doesn't want to talk to you, hey, just so you know, I heard you have herpes and you slept with my friend. It just, I just don't know how that conversation would go, I guess. So when Jason told me as a friend sitting on my bed in my apartment, I felt the need to say something. And I never said that Trisha has herpes and now Jason Nash has herpes. What I said was, I was told by a close friend of hers, and I don't know why he would have a reason to lie to me, that she has herpes. I don't know if it's true. Get checked if you're concerned about it, but have the conversation with her. What I've always told Jason, and if he wants to, he can back this up. David was there, he can back it up. I said, have the conversation with Trisha if you're concerned. I never said that she had herpes or that he had herpes. I never tried to get in the way of any type of relationship. I told him something that I would want to know myself as a friend if somebody knew something, and told him to ask her about it directly, which obviously he did. It was my friend talking to me about it, and withholding that information from him made me feel I just didn't feel like that was the right thing to do. To this day, I don't know if that was the right thing to do. I get some people saying that it was, some people saying that it wasn't. But what I just want people to understand is that this wasn't some type of mean girl rumor that I was starting. This was something that I said to my friend who it related to and who it was affecting, if it was true. Obviously, this is something that was never meant to just hurt Trisha's feelings. I didn't want to hurt her or make her sad, and I'm heartbroken that it did make her sad. But once again, this is a situation that her and I had already hashed out. We had had the conversation. She showed it in her own video where she told me why she was upset with me. I responded, and after that, we've had pleasant conversations, and it just hurt. So that's why I responded the way I did. Is it petty? Yes. Is it embarrassing? Obviously. Do I wish it went differently and that I handled it differently? Of course. Am I sorry that I hurt her? Definitely. And now I'll speak directly to Trisha. Trisha, everything I've ever said to you over the years, I still stand by. I'm here, I'm listening. I know that I'm not the friend that you want, but if you ever feel alone, like you have nobody else to talk to, my phone is open. You're not blocked. I know there's a million negative things that you could say about me, and I will never, ever, ever bash you. I do want to see you win. I want to see you end up with whatever man or woman you choose to be with. I want you to be happy, and I'll always be cheering you on. So for the sake of just getting everything out there, I want to quickly talk about the Alex James situation. The situation started when all of the other drama was happening, and somebody pulled a clip from a podcast where I tell a story about the kid I drove across the country with, and the interviewer asked me, "Are you still friends?" And I said, "No, it turns out he was actually a really bad person." When I saw this clip, I immediately felt bad about it. I should have known that anybody listening could make the connection. There was a YouTube video on my channel where I tell the story with Alex of us driving across the country, and that is why I reached out to Alex immediately, because I wanted to personally apologize to Alex for saying that publicly. He ignored my call. I texted him. He said that he didn't want to talk because he was sleeping, and I didn't hear from him again. A couple days later, he put out a video. In his second video that he put out about me, he said that he was just waiting for an apology, but the reason I did not apologize to Alex is because I let him know that if he wanted to talk about it, to reach out, and he did not reach out. He just wanted to make a video about it. The reason I called Alex a bad person is ironically for something that he said I did to him. He did a video saying that a few years back I did a prank call video with Zayn that I never posted because Zayn and I did a vlog saying we took it too far, we're not gonna post this, and I never uploaded the video. Alex was laughing his ass off. He actually got mad at me for not posting the video. On a separate and completely unrelated incident, Alex James got hacked, and I pulled every single one of my resources, all of my contacts, to try to help him get access to his accounts, even offering my personal phone number to use as his two-step verification to try to secure his account. For those of you who have been around for a while, you might remember that I did a video with Alex about a haunted hotel in Miami. The whole trip, I was having really severe anxiety. I had convinced myself that I was haunted, which is obviously really embarrassing to say, but things kept happening that were really scaring me. Like I was waking up in the middle of the night and my bathtub was full to the top with the jets on. I literally could not sleep at night because I was so scared. One night while we were there, Alex woke up to a ton of texts and missed calls from me, and when I saw him at breakfast, he was like, "Why did you call me a billion times last night?" And I told him, "I woke up to my tub full, the jacuzzi was on, I feel like there's a ghost in my room, I'm scared, I couldn't sleep," and I was legitimately terrified. I was exhausted, and for the rest of the trip, crazy stuff kept happening. There was banging on my doors, and then nobody would be out there. And then we went to his room, and he starts screaming, and his stuff is broken, and there's stuff hanging from the ceiling lights, and he's pretending to have a panic attack, saying he's super scared, and I had a full-blown meltdown at this point. I was sobbing, I was crying, the Snapchats are still on YouTube. I was so scared. We moved our hotel rooms from this beachfront beautiful suite to these other hotel rooms. I was texting him all night, asking him to please stay awake because I was so scared, and I literally didn't sleep for days straight because I was so scared. I was on the phone with a priest, I was on the phone with my dad, I was wearing medals with St. Jude on them. I couldn't enjoy the rest of the trip. We had a laser tag thing, and I had a panic attack inside of laser tag because I was afraid of being in a dark room, and every time somebody would jump out, I screamed. It was honestly a really stressful and difficult trip, and the time afterwards was really scary because I genuinely thought that I was being haunted. And as I was telling the story, everybody kept asking me, "Are you sure Alex didn't do this? Alex had to have done this." And I was like, no, he keeps saying to me that he would never do this. I've asked him a billion times. I begged him, if this is you, please just just tell me that you did this. And his response to me over and over again was, I would never take it this far. You're having panic attacks. You're having nightmares. Do you really think that I would move my beachfront suite to this shitty tower for a joke? He looked me dead in my face and said, Gabby, I would never do that. Then he said, we have to do a storytime video. So at that point I said, we can still do the storytime video. It's still funny, but please tell me, for my sake, is this fake? And he said, no, Gabby, are you kidding? If you ask me one more time, I'm gonna kill you. I would never do this. Do you really think that I would do all of this, break my stuff, throw my stuff around for a storytime video? So then we're in my apartment, we're filming, and before I start the camera, after I start the camera, during filming, I keep looking at him and saying, Alex, I'm not gonna be upset with you if you tell me now, did you do this for a storytime video? I'll still post the video, it'll still be funny, it'll still be fine, but for my mental health and my sanity, please tell me if you faked this. And he said, I can't believe you're still asking me about this as we're sitting here about to film this video. I would never do that. So fast forward a couple years, somebody asked me about the scariest ghost story I ever had, and I started talking about this, and I felt the urge to ask one more time. So I texted Alex, and this is how that conversation went. So in July of 2018, I said, I have to ask you something and you have to be 1,000,000,000% honest. And he said, okay. I said, Miami. Were you fucking with me? He said, of course, Gabby. I thought you would kind of put 2 and 2 together at the time, but then I'm thinking, homie is really scared. Let's keep this going. Ha 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 ha. I'm mad you've still held on to that thought. Why did something happen? I said, wait, for real? I've asked you so many times. You said you swear to God for 2 fucking years, LMAO. He said, you asked me like twice, and then I crossed my fingers at the hotel. I said, like, I literally begged you to tell me you were fucking with me. I was having panic attacks. Are you for real? I literally called my dad sobbing. You knew damn well I didn't think you were playing. LMAO, I literally can't believe you. He said, girl, like, how else is a conditioner bottle gonna end up on the ceiling? LOL, I figured you were being dramatic for Snapchat. I said, because I believe in ghosts, and I asked you so many times off camera and weeks and months after to tell me if you were fucking with me, and you kept saying, I swear to God on everything, why would I do that? He said, Gabby, no, I didn't. This is so dramatic. Keep swearing to God. Sorry if 2 years later you're still hung up on that, but yeah, I was kidding with you. I said, we changed rooms. I asked you 1,000,000 times to tell me if you were joking because I was afraid to sleep. I was literally crying in Miami. And yes, I made you swear to God like 100 times. He said, Gabby, you're being so dramatic right now and I'm busy, but okay, LOL, enjoy your day. I said, yeah, because you lied to me about something that was scaring the shit out of me, and I've asked you on so many occasions to swear you weren't just lying for content, and you pretended to be having a panic attack with me and said, no, I'd never do that, and had us switch rooms. And you said, do you really think I'd give up our beachfront amazing view suite for this shitty room? That's actually bonkers to me. I've asked you so many times leading up to the video off camera and you swore it was real. He said, Gabby, you're so ridiculous and I've caught you in so many lies that I don't even care to discuss. And I thought you and I were on the same page with that, and you asking me off camera what happened one time at your apartment the night we filmed. But again, sorry if you're still hung up on that. It definitely wasn't my intention, and you definitely were being dramatic the night at the hotel, so I went along with it. Anyways, hey, hope you're doing well. And then he blocked my number. So that whole text exchange is just confusing because in the same text messages, he says, it's crazy that I'm so hung up on that. He says he lied to me, but he crossed his fingers. He said, homie is really scared. Let's keep this going. I can't believe you held on to that. But then is also saying, I thought that you knew. So it's like, okay, so did you know that I knew, or were you playing along with it because I was actually scared? You're admitting to me that you lied to me off camera, that it wasn't you. But the thing that blows my mind about this whole situation is just the effort of making a video saying that I pranked you in a way that traumatized you for years, knowing that we've had this conversation, knowing that you actually pranked me in a way that traumatized me, that had me on the phone with priests, therapists, my family, panic attacks, not sleeping for months over this, telling everybody about this, and for you to say, I can't believe you're still holding on to this years later, and then make a video talking about a prank phone call, it just doesn't add up to me. So as far as saying that Alex James was a bad guy on the podcast, I honestly said it without thinking. I regret saying it. I tried to reach out to personally apologize about it, but Alex didn't want an apology. Just like then, Alex wanted a video. And to Alex, free to text me, I don't block anybody's number. And this is why I really felt the need to make this video. It just feels like we've created this culture where this type of behavior is rewarded. And YouTube as a platform rewards creators for doing these types of videos. Because if you put a YouTuber's name in your title, they serve that video to all of that person's subscribers. So everybody knows if you want to get views, the best way to do it is put a YouTuber's name in your title. And it's honestly hard to blame anybody for doing it because at the end of the day, it is entertaining for a lot of people. But when we start sharing the personal drama of real people or start making up personal drama and reporting it as news, where does it stop? It just comes down to bringing up pretty much anything you can to hurt somebody. It feels like whenever somebody is going through some type of drama, not just me, you guys have all seen it, it becomes a dog pile. Like, who else can say a bad story? Who can add it onto this and jump into it? And it sucks because your friends stop associating with you on camera because they don't want to get dragged into it. Your friends and colleagues unfollow you because they're afraid of being associated with you. Your friends and other creators stop liking your tweets or pictures. They stop responding because if you interact with them, then underneath you're going to get a slew of hate of how can you support this person? Basically saying you're a bad person and this person is a bad person by association. And that's one reason you don't see me collabing a lot anymore, and you haven't seen me collab, because as much as I don't want to be a part of that world anymore, that world also doesn't want me to be a part of it. So the last thing I want to address is the tweets that resurfaced. There have been a lot of dumb and offensive tweets over the years, and I've deleted them and apologized for them because they no longer accurately represent who I am or what I believe in or what I find funny. There's one that keeps circulating that I haven't deleted about Beyonce, and it says that if I could be any animal, that I would be Beyonce. And this has been circulating because it's been taken into a racist context, saying that I am comparing Black women or people of color to animals. I in no way was comparing people of color to the likes of an animal. What I meant is the euphemism, you're an animal. Like if somebody's really good at sports, you're like, you're a fucking animal. Literally, that tweet was my way of saying that Beyonce was more than human. And when people search for that tweet to find a tweet about Beyonce, they skip over the one where I say, there's always going to be somebody who's better than you at something unless you're Beyonce, which is just another way of me praising Beyonce. I've always loved Beyonce. When I was a little kid, getting made fun of for having a big butt before it was cool, Beyonce was saying, I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I've always loved Beyonce, loved Destiny's Child, and I in no way meant any ill intent or racist connotation to this tweet other than just saying she's what I want to be. I do understand, especially in 2020, word choice matters, and if I was to say the same thing today, I would word it very differently. I recognize that a lot of times people of color are compared to animals, and historically that is something that's happened for centuries, and I promise you at the time that wasn't my intention or my thought process behind the tweet, but I do apologize to anybody who I've hurt or offended by that tweet. I will be deleting it now after this video. I hadn't deleted it prior because I didn't want to make it seem like I was hiding from it or trying to escape it, because I truly didn't mean anything by it. Like, I have always loved Beyonce. As far as any other tweets or dumb things I've said on or done on the internet in the past, they're just gross and outdated and embarrassing, and I'm sorry that anybody ever had to read them, honestly. I've definitely learned and grown since then, and I'm much better and more careful with my words now. So all of that finally out of the way. I'm putting this video out not to stir up any drama because, as you guys can probably guess, I don't like addressing drama. I don't like engaging with it. I know that this is going to cause backlash. I know that this opens me up for any number of people to tell any number of stories about me, and I just have to accept that. I've never been shy over the years to express that I've had severe anger issues that I've worked through and am still working through and will continue to have to work through for probably the rest of my life. I've done and said a lot of shitty things, and there's a lot more stories about me that you haven't heard, but I just felt like at this point, for me to continue to not address it and to defend myself in a way, at some point I'm just allowing myself to be used as a punching bag and my fans to be used as a punching bag, and it's not fair to them. I've been watching them suffer and struggle too. People are bullying these 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kids just for supporting me, saying that they support a rape apologist and that they should kill themselves and that they should be ashamed of themselves and that they're disgusting human beings. So yes, I am making this video for me, but I'm also making it for them and for anybody else who was hurt by anything that I've said or done in the past. There was that comment that Jessi said in her video, in her initial video, that I said, well, his friends didn't rape you. And just like I said back when it happened, I can't say for sure that I didn't say that because I don't remember. It was years ago. But what I do know is Jessi and I have had so many conversations, and I thought that we had apologized to each other and moved on, and if this was something that she was still carrying with her and we either spoke about it and had moved on from it, or something she's never brought up to me. And like I said, there's a billion other shitty things that I've said to people out of anger and defense and just being a shitty person. I know a lot of people are going to say that I'm doing this for attention because if you're following at all on my other social media, you know that my EP is coming out tomorrow. I have music videos coming out, but this video never would have happened if Jessi didn't publicly speak about me again, put me in her thumbnail, use tags with my name. Honestly, I would have ignored this forever had it never come up again, but obviously ignoring it hasn't done me any good. So outside of my music videos that I have coming up, my book announcements that I have coming up, I have some stuff pre-filmed and all of this stuff has already been planned. I am going to be taking a major step back from YouTube, which is something that I've been talking about for a while anyways, but I do think that this is the time to do it and I do feel that I'm ready to do it. So thank you guys so much for hearing me out and I'll see you sometime, I don't know.